How to Become a People Magnet by Marc Reklau. Imagine walking into any room and feeling an immediate sense of connection, where people turn toward you, conversations flow effortlessly, and others are naturally drawn to your presence. No awkwardness, no pretending. Just genuine, magnetic energy that invites trust, curiosity, and even admiration. Sounds like a superpower, right? Well, it's not. It's a skill. And like any other skill, you can learn it, practice it, and master it. In this video, we're diving into How to Become a People Magnet by Marc Reklau, a simple yet powerful book that reveals the proven habits anyone can adopt to build deeper relationships, become more likable, and transform their social life. Whether you're an introvert trying to make friends, a professional climbing the career ladder, or someone who just wants to feel more confident around people, this guide is for you. We're breaking it all down into 11 life-changing habits. These aren't cheesy tricks or fake charm tactics. These are foundational behaviors that, once internalized, can make you truly magnetic to others. You'll learn how to own your energy, speak with presence, listen like a leader, and build real connections that last. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a clear, actionable blueprint to become the kind of person others love to be around. Your relationships, personal and professional, are about to get a powerful upgrade. Let's begin. Section 1. Take 100% responsibility. If there's one habit that can create a radical shift in your relationships and your entire life, it's this. Take 100% responsibility. Not 80%, not 50%, and definitely not just when things are going well. Take full, complete ownership of your thoughts, words, actions, and the energy you bring into every situation. Most people live their lives pointing fingers. My boss never listens. My partner doesn't understand me. People are just rude these days. And while these statements may feel justified, here's the truth. The moment you blame someone else, you give away your power. You become a passive player in your own story. But the moment you say, "What can I do differently?" that's the moment you become magnetic. That's the moment you shift from victim to leader. Marc Reklau, in How to Become a People Magnet, starts with this principle for a reason. It's the foundation for every other habit. If you don't believe you have control over your interactions, then no communication trick or charisma hack will stick. This is about mindset. When you take 100% responsibility, you stop waiting for people to treat you better. You start creating the conditions for better relationships. So what does this look like in real life? Let's say you constantly feel left out at work. You assume people don't like you, that you're just not part of the inner circle. But then, one day, you notice something. Every time someone tries to engage you, you're guarded. Your arms are crossed, your answers are short, and your body language screams, "Leave me alone." That defensive energy repels people, even if they started with good intentions. This is where the shift begins. Instead of blaming co-workers for being cold, you ask, "What am I doing that might make connection harder?" And that question changes everything. You start relaxing your posture. You smile more. You ask questions instead of shutting down conversations. Slowly, people begin to respond. Why? Because your energy changed, and energy is contagious. Responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself or feeling guilty. It's not about taking on the emotional baggage of others or beating yourself up when things go wrong. It's about ownership. You own your tone. You own your reactions. You own how you show up, even when others don't show up well. Let's go deeper. Think about your closest relationships, your partner, friends, family. If there's conflict, it's tempting to point out everything they did wrong. But real growth starts with asking, "What did I bring into this moment?" Was I kind? Was I patient? Did I listen? Or was I just waiting to be heard? Even if the other person was 90% wrong, focusing on your 10% gives you power. Why? Because you can control your 10%. You can change it. You can grow from it. This mindset turns you into a problem solver instead of a problem blamer. It gives you flexibility, creativity, and emotional resilience. And let's be honest, those are incredibly attractive traits. People are drawn to those who don't make excuses, who admit when they're wrong, who lead by example. That's magnetic energy. Taking responsibility also requires emotional honesty. You might have to admit you've been reactive, sarcastic, withdrawn, or even manipulative. That's not easy. But the good news? You're not stuck. Responsibility means you can choose something different next time. You can pause before reacting. You can communicate more clearly. You can show up with a better version of yourself. And that version gets better with every rep, every choice. So how do you start applying this today? Begin with reflection. After every meaningful interaction, good or bad, ask yourself, what energy did I bring into that conversation? Was I truly present or distracted? Did I listen or just wait to speak? Did I communicate what I needed or did I expect them to just get it? Then, get curious. If something didn't go well, don't spiral into guilt. Just explore it. Ask, what can I learn from this? What can I try differently next time? This curiosity turns conflict into feedback, and feedback is fuel for growth. One powerful tool to reinforce this habit is journaling. Each evening, take 5 minutes to reflect. Where today did I take responsibility, and where did I give my power away? You'll start to notice patterns. Maybe you shut down when you're stressed. Maybe you lash out when you feel unheard. Once you see it, you can change it. Let's revisit our earlier example. That person at work who felt constantly rejected? Once they became aware of their own defensive body language, they committed to changing it. They started making eye contact, asking coworkers how their weekend was, and responding with more warmth. And guess what happened? Their environment changed. Colleagues opened up. Invitations started coming. Their workplace didn't transform overnight, but their experience of it did. Why? Because they transformed first. Responsibility is the lever that shifts relationships. It's what turns you into someone people want to be around. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. You're honest. You're growing. And that's inspiring. Here's another powerful truth. People feel when you're in control of your own energy. They feel it when you're emotionally grounded, when you own your words and behavior. It creates safety. And safety is what allows trust to grow. In a world where so many people deflect, deny, and blame, being someone who takes ownership stands out. It radiates maturity, confidence, and authenticity. Now, let's pause and turn inward. Ask yourself, where in my life am I giving away my power by blaming others? Is it in your marriage, your friendships, your job? Is there a conversation where you've been waiting for them to fix it, when really, you could go first? That's your challenge today. Choose one area where you've been stuck in blame or frustration. Then shift. Take ownership. Make the first move. Whether it's offering a sincere apology, changing your tone, or just showing up with a better attitude. Do it. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. Because you deserve to reclaim your power. Here's the bottom line. Taking 100% responsibility is not easy, but it's worth it. It's how you stop being a passive observer and become the author of your own story. And as you take ownership of your energy, your choices, and your presence, you'll begin to see something amazing. people will respond differently. They'll trust you more, open up to you more, gravitate toward you, because your energy invites connection instead of conflict. This is the first step to becoming a people magnet. And it starts inside, not with them, but with you. Let's keep building. Section 2. Smile and show appreciation. If you're looking for one of the simplest, most powerful tools to instantly improve your relationships, start here. Smile and show appreciation. It sounds almost too easy, doesn't it? But don't let the simplicity fool you. This one habit has the power to open hearts, disarm negativity, and forge connections faster than any clever line or social trick ever could. In How to Become a People Magnet, Marc Reklau emphasizes this foundational truth. Small gestures build huge bridges. A genuine smile and a heartfelt thank you cost nothing, but they carry immense value. In a world filled with stress, distraction, and emotional fatigue, people are starving for positivity. A smile is a light. Appreciation is fuel. When you combine both, you become a beacon in someone's day, and that is unforgettable. Let's talk about the science for a second. When you smile, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, those feel-good chemicals that lift your mood. But here's the real kicker. When others see you smile, their brains start producing those same chemicals too. That means your smile literally has the power to improve someone else's emotional state, simply by existing. And that's what being magnetic is all about. Making people feel better because you're around. Now, let's talk about appreciation. So often, we wait for big moments to say something kind or affirming. We write birthday cards or post tributes during special occasions. But what if we made appreciation a daily ritual instead of a rare event? Imagine how it would feel if someone pointed out something small you did, something that often goes unnoticed, and said, "Hey, I saw that. Thank you. You made a difference." That's the kind of feedback people crave. We all want to be seen. We all want to be valued. And when you take the time to acknowledge someone, whether it's the barista who remembers your name, the colleague who always stays late, or the friend who checks in when no one else does, you instantly deepen the connection. But here's where most people get it wrong. Their compliments are either generic, forced, or transactional. "Nice shirt. You're awesome. Thanks for that." While these are nice gestures, they lack depth and intention. A truly magnetic compliment is specific, genuine, and timely. Instead of saying, "You're great," try, "I really appreciate how you always stay calm under pressure." It makes a big difference on the team. That kind of compliment doesn't just make someone smile, it sticks with them for days. Let's look at a real-world example. There was a retail worker at a small clothing store who made it a habit to greet every customer with a warm smile, a kind word, and genuine interest. While others simply went through the motions. "Hi, let me know if you need anything." She brought energy. She remembered names. She complimented customers on how something looked, not just to sell it, but to make them feel good. Over time, people started coming back just to see her. Her manager noticed. Sales rose. And within a year, she was promoted to store manager. Not because she had a fancy degree or flashy resume, but because she made people feel seen and appreciated. That's the magnetic effect in action. Now you might be wondering, what if I'm not naturally smiley or expressive? What if I'm shy or going through a tough time myself? Here's the truth. This habit doesn't require you to be fake. In fact, forced positivity is the opposite of what we're talking about. A fake smile is easy to spot, and it doesn't build bridges, it builds walls. But a small, genuine smile? That hits differently. Even on hard days, you can choose to look someone in the eyes and offer a soft smile that says, I see you. Even when you're tired, you can say, I appreciate what you did today. And when it comes from a place of authenticity, it doesn't just change their day, it changes yours. That's another benefit of this habit. It improves your mood and mindset. When you smile, your brain shifts. When you appreciate others, your focus turns from what's missing in your life to what's meaningful. Gratitude becomes a lens, and through it, the world looks kinder, brighter, more connected. You feel better about others and about yourself. You start seeing opportunities for connection everywhere. So how do you make this a habit? Start simple. Commit to 2 things. 1. Smile more, especially in moments when it's easy to forget. When you enter a room, when you answer a call, when you greet someone. Let it become a muscle you build. Not a forced grin, but a relaxed, inviting expression that says, I'm here, I'm present, and I'm open. 2. Give 1 genuine compliment every day, and make it specific. Look for what someone did, how they showed up, or who they are when no one else is looking. Say it out loud. Let them feel it. This habit is especially powerful in professional settings. In workplaces where recognition is rare and stress is high, being the person who consistently brings warmth and appreciation makes you stand out. You become someone people want on their team, not just because you get results, but because you make the environment better. And in personal relationships, appreciation is like oxygen. Couples who express gratitude regularly report higher satisfaction. Friends who acknowledge each other stay connected longer. Family members who say, thank you, instead of taking each other for granted, build stronger bonds. The people closest to us need it the most, but we often forget that. Here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, give 1 sincere compliment each day. It can be to anyone, your partner, your coworker, the cashier at the grocery store, even a stranger. Notice what happens. Watch how people respond. Watch how you feel. Keep a small journal or note on your phone and record the reactions. This simple experiment can shift your entire week. And don't stop at words. Sometimes appreciation shows up in actions. A handwritten note, a surprise coffee for a friend, a 5-minute conversation where you really listen. There are countless ways to say, I see you, you matter. Use them. In the end, becoming a people magnet isn't about having the loudest voice or the flashiest personality. It's about being intentional. It's about showing up with presence and positivity. When you smile, people feel safe. When you appreciate, people feel valued. And when people feel safe and valued around you, they want to be around you more. That's the magic. So the next time you walk into a room, remember, your smile is your calling card. Your appreciation is your connection. Use them freely. Use them often. Because the world could use more light, and you have more than enough to give. Section 3. Listen to understand, not to reply. If there's one habit that instantly separates the magnetic from the mediocre, it's this: listening. Not just nodding while someone talks, not waiting impatiently for your turn to speak, but truly listening, to understand, not to reply. In How to Become a People Magnet, Marc Reklau calls listening your secret weapon. And he's absolutely right. Why? Because in a world where everyone wants to be heard, the person who offers genuine attention becomes rare, and therefore unforgettable. Let's be honest, most people are terrible listeners. They're not really paying attention to what you're saying. They're thinking about what they'll say next. They interrupt, offer unsolicited advice, or hijack the conversation with their own story. And we've all done it. But here's what we often forget. People don't remember everything you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. If someone walks away from a conversation feeling deeply heard, seen, and understood, they will walk away feeling closer to you, even if you didn't say a single clever thing. Listening is an act of generosity. It says, right now, I'm choosing to make this moment about you. And that kind of presence, that builds trust, it creates intimacy, it makes people feel safe. And when people feel safe around you, they want to open up, collaborate, and stay connected. Let's bring this into the real world. Imagine a struggling team at work. The morale is low, tensions are high, and no one feels like they're being heard. A new manager steps in, not with grand speeches or sweeping changes, but with a simple intention: to listen. She sets up one-on-one sessions with each team member. She asks, "How are you really doing? What's working for you? What's frustrating?" And then she shuts up. She listens. No defensiveness. No rushing to defend the company or herself. Just presence. At first, the team is skeptical, but then something shifts. People begin to share honestly. Ideas surface. Frustrations are aired and acknowledged. And over time, the mood changes. The culture begins to heal. All because one person chose to listen. Not to fix, not to win, not to prove anything, but simply to understand. That's the power of listening. So how do you do it? How do you practice this kind of magnetic listening in everyday conversations? Start by making a mental shift. Go into conversations with one purpose: to understand. Not to debate, not to convince, not to win, but to fully understand the person in front of you. When you make that your priority, your entire posture changes. One powerful tactic Marc Reklau suggests is mirroring. That is, briefly repeating back what someone just said before you respond. For example, if someone says, "I've just been feeling overwhelmed lately with everything at work," instead of jumping in with advice, try saying, "So it sounds like work's been really heavy on you lately?" This signals that you're listening and helps the other person feel validated. Often they'll elaborate, go deeper, or even begin to solve their own problem just because they feel heard. Next, focus on your body language. Listening is not just about your ears, it's about your presence. Put your phone away. Make eye contact. Lean in slightly. Nod occasionally. Use soft facial expressions that show empathy. These nonverbal cues tell the other person, "I'm with you. I'm fully here." Avoid the temptation to interrupt or shift the spotlight. We all want to relate. Someone shares a story, and we jump in. That happened to me too. It comes from a good place, but it can derail the connection. Instead, let them finish. Let them feel the space. Then, when it's your turn to speak, respond in a way that shows you were actually listening. This is especially powerful in conflict. When someone's upset, our instinct is often to defend ourselves. But that only escalates things. Instead, try this. Take a breath. Say, "Let me make sure I understand what you're saying." And repeat their core concern back to them. This doesn't mean you agree. It just means you're willing to understand their perspective. And that act alone can completely de-escalate tension. Listening also deepens your emotional intelligence. You begin to notice what people aren't saying. You pick up on tone, hesitation, the look in their eyes. You become more attuned. And that emotional awareness makes you better at relationships, leadership, sales, parenting, everything. Because at the end of the day, all of life is relationships. And relationships thrive on understanding. Let's not forget how rare this habit is. In a noisy world, being someone who truly listens makes you magnetic by default. People will seek you out, not because you have all the answers, but because you give them space to find their own. You become a mirror, a safe harbor, a trusted presence. That's the kind of person others remember. Here's a little mindset shift that helps. When someone is talking, imagine they are handing you a fragile gift. Your job is to receive it with care. Don't fumble it. Don't toss it aside to show off your own gift. Just receive it. And when they're done, honor it with a thoughtful response. Now, let's talk about a practical challenge. In your next conversation, aim to speak only 30% of the time and listen 70%. You'll notice a few things. First, how hard it is to not interrupt or jump in. Second, how much you learn when you're not focused on talking. Third, how differently people respond. You'll likely see their body relax, their tone soften, their trust in you grow. Try it with a friend, a coworker, or even your partner. Then reflect. How did it feel? Did the connection deepen? Did they open up more than usual? You might be surprised by how powerful it is to simply be there. Listening isn't flashy. It doesn't get applause. But it builds something far more valuable than attention. It builds connection. And in the end, that's what being a people magnet is all about. Making people feel connected, valued, and safe in your presence. So, next time you find yourself in conversation, pause and ask, am I listening to understand or just waiting to talk? That small shift can change everything. Remember, you don't need to be the smartest, funniest, or most charming person in the room. You just need to be the one who truly listens. That's where the real magic begins. Section 4. Give without expectations. One of the most magnetic things you can do in life is give. Freely, generously, and without keeping score. In How to Become a People Magnet, Marc Reklau shines a spotlight on this underrated principle. Give without expectations. Not because you want something in return, not because it's strategic, but simply because it's who you choose to be. Let's face it, many people operate on a transactional mindset. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'll help you, but only if you help me later. The problem? This kind of thinking turns relationships into business deals, and eventually, people start to feel manipulated, used, or like they're on the hook. Generosity with strings attached isn't generosity. It's a form of control. But when you give from a place of authenticity, when your kindness is unconditional, you stand out. You create an energy around you that says, I'm not here to take. I'm here to contribute. That mindset is rare, and it's magnetic. Why does this matter so much? Because people can feel the difference. You've probably experienced it yourself. Someone helps you, but then keeps reminding you of it. Or they act like you owe them something now. It feels heavy. It creates pressure. It makes you want to pull away. Contrast that with someone who helps you, expects nothing, and disappears without fanfare. That kind of person? You remember them forever. Think about this. When you give without expectations, you shift the relationship dynamic. It becomes about connection instead of calculation. It builds trust instead of tension. And trust is the currency of all great relationships. Let's look at a real-world example. A consultant was once approached by a young professional trying to break into the industry. She asked for advice, and he gladly offered it. No invoice, no sales pitch, just genuine guidance. He helped her polish her resume, gave her networking tips, and even reviewed her portfolio. She thanked him, and they went their separate ways. 6 months later, out of the blue, he gets a call. The same woman is now leading a new department at a growing company. They're hiring, and she immediately thought of him. You were the only one who helped me when I had nothing, she said. Now I want you on my team. He didn't help her because he expected a return, but the return came anyway, bigger and better than he could have imagined. That's the beauty of giving without expectations. It often circles back in unexpected ways. But, and here's the key, you have to let go of the need for it to. You have to trust that what you put out will eventually come back, even if not from the person you gave to, and even if it doesn't look the way you thought it would. So how do you put this into practice? Start small. Look for ways to offer instead of calculate. Can you share a helpful article with someone who's struggling? Can you connect two people who might benefit from knowing each other? Can you simply listen to someone who needs to talk without turning the conversation back to yourself? These acts of kindness cost little, but they build emotional wealth in every direction. Here's a key point Marc Reklau emphasizes. Don't remind people of what you've done for them. This is where many people trip up. They give, but then they subtly bring it up again later. Remember when I helped you with that project? After everything I've done for you. This ruins the purity of the gift. True generosity doesn't need reminders. It doesn't tally favors. It gives, and then lets go. Another way to practice this principle is in emotional generosity. Encourage someone's dream without needing them to validate yours. Compliment someone sincerely without waiting for one back. Be the first to forgive, to praise, to uplift. These are forms of giving too, and they're just as powerful as physical or financial gifts. Now, let's address a common fear. What if people take advantage of me? It's a valid concern. There are takers out there. But giving without expectations doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It means giving by choice, not obligation. It means having healthy boundaries. You're not giving to be liked, or because you're afraid to say no. You're giving because it aligns with your values. And when you give from that grounded place, you're less likely to feel drained, even if nothing comes back. Also, remember that giving doesn't always mean big gestures. Often, it's the small things done consistently that matter most. A thoughtful message, a recommendation, a smile, a few encouraging words at the right moment. These things ripple out in ways you'll never fully see. But they matter. Let's flip the script for a moment. Think about someone who helped you when they didn't have to. Someone who gave their time, energy, or belief in you just because. How did it feel? Did it make you want to be better? Did it create a sense of loyalty or appreciation? That's what you can create for others every single day by simply choosing to give. There's also something spiritually freeing about this habit. When you stop keeping score, you stop being trapped by ego. You stop needing the world to repay you. You begin to operate from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You stop asking, "What's in it for me?" and start asking, "How can I serve?" And ironically, it's this mindset that ends up attracting the most back to you, because people naturally gravitate to those who give freely and wholeheartedly. Here's your challenge. Do one act of kindness this week with zero expectations. Don't tell anyone. Don't look for recognition. Don't wait for it to come back. Just do it. It could be paying for someone's coffee behind you, writing a thank you note, offering your help to someone struggling. Anything, big or small. Just make sure it's done from the heart. Then pay attention, not to what you get, but to how it feels. Notice the shift inside you, the lightness, the freedom, the joy. Because when you give like this, you're not just changing someone else's day, you're changing yourself. To become a true people magnet, you must shift from "what can I take" to "what can I give?" You must become someone who creates value, not someone who extracts it. And you must learn to trust that your kindness, even when unseen, is never wasted. So, as you move through your week, ask yourself, Am I giving to get or giving to give? The answer to that question will shape your relationships more than any charm, trick, or tactic ever could. Be generous. Be intentional. Give without strings. And watch how the world starts giving back in ways you never expected. Section 5. Be interested, not interesting. Here's a truth that can completely transform how people relate to you. You don't have to be the most charming, charismatic, or clever person in the room to become the most magnetic. You just need to be genuinely interested in others. Marc Reklau nails this point in How to Become a People Magnet with a simple but powerful shift in mindset. Stop trying to be interesting. Start being interested. We live in a world where everyone is trying to be seen. Social media has us curating our lives, perfecting selfies, and highlighting our achievements. In conversation, many people are subconsciously performing, waiting for their moment to impress, to entertain, to outshine. But here's the twist. While you're trying to look interesting, the person across from you is usually wondering, do you care about me? Are you paying attention? Do I matter to you? If you can flip the script, if you can show up as someone who is deeply curious about others, you will instantly stand out. Because that energy is rare, it's refreshing, and people are drawn to it like a magnet. Think about this. Everyone loves talking about themselves. It's not vanity. It's human nature. Studies show that talking about yourself activates the same reward centers in the brain as eating chocolate or getting money. So when you give someone the space to share their passions, stories, and dreams, you're not just making conversation. You're giving them a gift. You're lighting up their brain. You're making them feel alive. And in turn, they associate that good feeling with you. That's the secret sauce of magnetic people. They leave others feeling better about themselves, not just impressed by the person they just met. So, how do you cultivate this habit? Start with meaningful questions. Move beyond surface-level chit-chat like, "How's the weather?" or "What do you do?" Instead, go for depth. Ask, "What's something you're really passionate about?" Or, "What's the most exciting thing you're working on right now?" These questions open doors. They give people permission to be real, to light up, to share what matters to them. When someone tells you something, lean in. Respond with curiosity, not comparison. If they say, "I just started learning photography," resist the urge to jump in with your own story about photography. Instead, say, "That's awesome. What drew you to it?" Or, "What do you love most about it so far?" Keep the spotlight on them. Make it your mission to understand what makes them tick. Also, pay attention to your nonverbal cues. Are you making eye contact? Are you nodding, smiling, and showing that you're genuinely engaged? Or are you glancing at your phone, checking the time, or looking over their shoulder? Your body language often speaks louder than your words. Show up fully. Be present. Enthusiasm is contagious, and people can feel when you're really listening. Let's bring this to life with a story. Picture a quiet introvert at a party. He doesn't have flashy stories or a booming personality. He's not cracking jokes or dominating the room, but he starts doing something simple. Asking people thoughtful questions. How do you know the host? What do you love most about your job? What's been the highlight of your year so far? And he listens, really listens, to the answers. To his surprise, something magical happens. People start gravitating toward him. They open up. They linger. Some even say, "You're so interesting to talk to," even though he barely talked about himself. Why? Because he made them feel seen. And that feeling is magnetic. This strategy works in every area of life. In networking, in dating, in leadership, in family dynamics. When you become someone who's curious, you instantly raise your emotional intelligence. You start noticing things other people miss. You see the person beneath the surface. You build trust quickly. And that trust opens doors because people want to be around those who make them feel valued. Being interested also reduces social anxiety. If you're nervous in conversations, shift your focus away from you. Stop worrying about what to say. Start focusing on learning about the other person. Ask a question, then another. Before you know it, the pressure melts away, because the spotlight isn't on you anymore. It's on them. And ironically, that makes you seem more confident and charismatic. Another benefit? You learn so much. Everyone you meet knows something you don't. When you ask questions, you open yourself to their world, their wisdom, their experiences. That not only makes you more informed, it makes you more empathetic. And empathy is the foundation of all great relationships. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about manipulation. It's not a tactic to get people to like you. It's about shifting your energy, from performing to connecting, from trying to prove something to curiously exploring someone else's world. When your interest is genuine, people feel it, and they respond in kind. Here's your challenge. Ask someone this week, what are you most excited about right now? Just that one question. Watch what happens. Notice how they light up. Notice how the energy of the conversation changes. Then keep going. Ask follow-ups. Show enthusiasm. Be present. You'll likely walk away with more than a new connection. You'll walk away with a moment of real human depth. And the other person will walk away thinking, that was refreshing. I liked being around them. Marc Reklau reminds us that people remember how we make them feel. And when you're interested, when you show up with that sincere curiosity, you make people feel important, respected, valued. That's the kind of energy that lingers. That's what builds loyalty, friendships, and influence. So as you move through the world, ask yourself, am I trying to be interesting, or am I being interested? The first puts pressure on you. The second puts connection within reach. You don't need to be the life of the party. You don't need to have the best stories, the funniest jokes, or the most impressive resume. You just need to care, to ask, to listen, to make space for others to shine. Because the truth is, when you let others shine, you shine too. Be curious, be present, be interested, and watch the world start leaning in. Section 6. Say people's names. If there's one simple habit that can instantly deepen your connection with others, it's this: say their name. As Dale Carnegie once wrote, and Marc Reklau echoes in How to Become a People Magnet, a person's name is to that person the sweetest sound in any language. It's not just a word. It's an emotional trigger, a symbol of identity, and a powerful tool for building rapport. And yet, so many of us overlook or underuse it. Think about it. When someone says your name, not in a formal robotic way, but with warmth and sincerity, how does it make you feel? Probably acknowledged, seen, respected. It signals, you matter. I recognize you. I'm paying attention. That's the effect names have, and it's why using them correctly is one of the most magnetic habits you can develop. So, why does this matter so much in our relationships and interactions? Because in a world that often feels impersonal, hearing your own name is like someone turning a light directly on you. It cuts through noise and makes you feel significant, especially in social or professional settings where people can easily feel like just another face. Your name acts as a psychological anchor. When someone remembers and uses it, you feel more than just part of the crowd. You feel seen. Now imagine you're that person for someone else. the one who remembers names, who speaks them with ease, who treats people as individuals, not placeholders. That's the kind of person who builds loyalty, trust, and deep emotional connection. Let's bring this concept to life with a real-world story. There's a local barista named Sam who works at a coffee shop in a busy city. Every day, people rush in, half asleep, scrolling through their phones, mumbling their orders. But Sam has a different approach. When someone gives their name for their drink order, he locks it in. The next time that person walks in, Sam greets them with a warm smile and says, "Hey, Julie, usual today?" Or, "Morning, Mark? Want to try something different today?" He doesn't just remember the drink, he remembers them. Over time, customers start choosing his line, even if it's longer. They linger to chat, they tip better. They leave feeling a little lighter than when they walked in. Why? Because Sam makes them feel important. And all he really did was say their name. That's the power of this principle in action. It's not flashy, it's not difficult, but it's transformative. So how do you build this habit into your daily life? It starts with attention. When you meet someone for the first time, focus on their name. Don't just hear it. Listen to it. Say it back immediately. "Nice to meet you, Olivia." This repetition reinforces memory and signals to them that they're more than just a fleeting moment in your day. Next, find a way to associate their name with something. Maybe their name rhymes with something, reminds you of someone you already know, or has a unique spelling. For example, Jake from marketing likes to bake. These little memory tricks may seem silly, but they work. Then, sprinkle their name naturally into the conversation. Not excessively. This isn't about overdoing it, but intentionally. That's a great point, Sarah. You know, Ben, that reminds me of something similar I experienced. Used sincerely, a person's name becomes a soft touch point of connection. It shows that you're not just talking, you're talking to them. And when you see them again, greet them by name. This is where most people fall short. They remember the face, maybe the context, but they forget the name. And that tiny slip can be the difference between a warm reconnection and an awkward pause. To build this muscle, set a small challenge for yourself. Remember and use the names of 3 new people this week. Whether it's a coworker you haven't really spoken to, the receptionist at your gym, or someone you casually interact with at your local store, make the effort. Say their name. Use it. And watch their eyes light up. There's another layer to this too. Using names isn't just about remembering, it's also about respect. For many people, especially those from cultures where their names may be mispronounced or shortened without consent, hearing their correct name said with care can be a deeply affirming experience. If you're unsure how to pronounce someone's name, ask, say, "I want to make sure I'm saying your name correctly. Can you help me with that?" Most people appreciate the effort. It tells them that you care enough not to gloss over something so central to their identity. Now, let's also talk about tone. It's not just that you say someone's name, it's how you say it. Your tone communicates just as much as your words. Are you saying it with enthusiasm? With sincerity? With warmth? Or does it sound robotic or forced? When you use someone's name with kindness and presence, it becomes an emotional touchstone. It builds micro moments of trust. And those moments add up. Marc Reklau emphasizes that being a people magnet isn't about being the loudest voice or the biggest personality. It's about the little things, the daily habits that make others feel seen, heard, and valued. Saying names is one of the smallest yet most powerful of those habits. Let's face it, anyone can send a message, give advice, or make a point. But it's the person who remembers your name, says it with care, and treats you as an individual who leaves a lasting impression. That's the person people want to talk to, work with, open up to. That's the person who becomes unforgettable. So, as you move through your day, pay attention to names. Use them, respect them, value them. And if you forget someone's name, don't panic. Be honest and humble. I'm so sorry. I know we've met, but I've blanked on your name. Can you remind me? Most people appreciate the honesty, and it gives you a chance to recommit to remembering it next time. Here's a final thought. In a world where everyone is moving fast, checking their phones, and half listening, being someone who slows down enough to remember a name is a rare and beautiful thing. It's a gesture of respect, of attentiveness, of humanity. Be that person. Say the name. Mean it. And watch your connections flourish. Section 7. Practice gratitude in relationships. Gratitude might seem like a soft skill, something we associate with journaling or meditation. But when it comes to becoming a people magnet, someone who draws others in with ease, warmth, and connection, gratitude is a superpower. Marc Reklau emphasizes this in How to Become a People Magnet, and for good reason. When you practice gratitude in your relationships, everything changes. The energy shifts, the walls fall, and love, respect, and connection rise to the surface. At its core, gratitude is about recognition. It's the conscious act of saying, I see you, I value you, I don't take you for granted. And in a world that often rewards speed, efficiency, and ambition, those words can be revolutionary. Why does this matter? Because relationships thrive on appreciation and wither in its absence. Think about it. How often do we go through the motions with the people closest to us, our partners, friends, co-workers, without truly acknowledging what they bring into our lives? We might assume they know we're grateful. But the truth is, unspoken gratitude is invisible. It doesn't nurture. It doesn't build. It fades like mist in the background of a busy life. When we practice gratitude intentionally, we pour emotional fuel into our relationships. We make others feel seen, respected, and important. And when people feel appreciated, they naturally become warmer, more generous, more open. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a relationship builder. It diffuses resentment. It dissolves tension. It reminds us what we love about the people we live, work, and grow with. So how do you apply it? First, make it a habit to thank people often, not just for the big, obvious things, but for the small, consistent efforts that often go unnoticed. Did someone listen to you today? Thank them. Did your colleague pull through on a project? Acknowledge them. Did your partner make you coffee or pick up dinner or just check in on your day? Say it. Thank you. That meant a lot. These moments may seem small, but they create ripple effects. When people feel appreciated, they're more likely to give their best, more likely to stay close, more likely to return the kindness. Second, journal daily about someone you're grateful for. This practice might feel personal, but it has outward effects. When you take time each day to reflect on one person and one thing you appreciate about them, you rewire your brain to notice the good. Instead of focusing on flaws, frustrations, or what's missing, you begin to see abundance, effort, and care. That mindset shift can completely transform how you relate to others. Here's an example that brings it all together. A family decided to start a daily gratitude ritual. Every evening, they'd each write a short thank you note to another family member. Sometimes it was as simple as, "Thanks for helping me with my homework," or "Thanks for listening to me today." Other times, it was deeper. "Thank you for always being patient with me, even when I mess up." What started as a small experiment quickly grew into a profound shift. Arguments decreased. Affection increased. The home felt lighter. Why? Because appreciation had replaced assumption. Gratitude had replaced criticism. And here's what's beautiful. You can create the same effect in any environment. Your workplace, your friend group, your romantic relationship. All it takes is one person, you, choosing to see, acknowledge, and express what's good. But let's also be honest. Gratitude isn't always easy, especially when you're tired, stressed, or in conflict with someone. That's when it matters most. In those moments, practicing gratitude is like striking a match in the dark. It brings light. It softens anger. It opens the door to healing. Maybe you've had a rough patch with a friend or partner. Try this. Instead of focusing on what they did wrong, write down 5 things you appreciate about them. Even small things. Then, share one. Say, I know we've had tension, but I just want you to know I really admire how loyal you've always been. That sentence can break barriers that hours of arguing never could. Gratitude also increases your emotional intelligence. When you practice it, you become more aware of others' efforts and more attuned to their emotions. You stop taking things personally and start noticing context, intent, and nuance. This emotional maturity makes you calmer, more compassionate, and easier to connect with, which in turn makes people feel safer around you. And safety is magnetic. People want to be around those who make them feel good about themselves, not because they're flattered constantly, but because they feel seen and appreciated. Gratitude is the vehicle for that. Now here's your challenge. Write and deliver a thank you note to someone you've taken for granted. Maybe it's a parent who supported you in ways you never acknowledged. Maybe it's a friend who always checks in, even when you don't reply right away. Maybe it's a teacher, a mentor, a coworker, or even a stranger who showed you kindness. Whoever it is, write a heartfelt message. Be specific. Say what they did and how it impacted you. Then deliver it, in person, in a call, or even via text or email if that's all you can do. Watch what happens. Often, this small gesture opens up conversations, reconnects hearts, and breathes new life into tired dynamics. The truth is, we don't need more grand gestures in our relationships. We need more consistent appreciation. We need to tell people they matter while they're still around to hear it. Marc Reklau teaches that being a people magnet isn't about manipulation. It's about mindfulness. It's about showing up with kindness, curiosity, and appreciation. Gratitude is one of the simplest ways to do that, and it's one of the most effective. So as you move forward, ask yourself, who am I grateful for today? Have I told them? Have I shown it? Because the more you practice gratitude, the more magnetic you become, not just to others, but to the life you're building. You'll find yourself surrounded by warmth, trust, and connection. And that, more than anything, is the foundation of a rich, meaningful life. Start today. Say thank you. Write the note. Speak the words. Your relationships and your spirit will thank you for it. Section 8. Be authentic and vulnerable. In a world obsessed with appearances, curated perfection, and highlight reels, authenticity is like a breath of fresh air, and vulnerability is the bridge that connects us deeply. One of the most powerful ideas Marc Reklau shares in How to Become a People Magnet is this: you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You have to be real. Think about the people you're most drawn to in your life, the ones you trust, the ones you feel safe around. Are they the flawless, polished types who never admit to weakness? Or are they the ones who are open, honest, and unafraid to share their story, warts and all? The truth is, we don't connect to each other's strengths nearly as much as we connect to each other's struggles. That's where trust is built. That's where empathy grows. That's where real connection lives. Let's be clear. Vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing or dumping your problems on anyone who will listen. It's about selective honesty. It's about showing that you're human, that you make mistakes, feel pain, face fears, and sometimes don't have all the answers. That openness creates safety for others to do the same. Why does this matter so much? Because when we pretend to be perfect, we actually push people away. Perfection is intimidating. It creates distance. It makes others feel like they have to perform, compare, or wear a mask around you. But when you're authentic, when you show up as your true self, flaws and all, you invite others to do the same. You build bridges of belonging. One of the most compelling examples of this comes from the business world. A well-respected CEO once stood before his company during a turbulent period. Instead of giving a scripted speech filled with corporate jargon and forced optimism, he paused and said, "I have to be honest with you all. I've been struggling with anxiety. I'm doing my best, but some days are hard, and I don't have all the answers." What followed was a wave of connection, support, and renewed commitment from his team. Why? Because in that moment, he wasn't just a boss. He was a person. And people rallied not behind a title, but behind a human being they respected and felt close to. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's courage in action. When you say, "I don't know," "I was wrong," or "I'm struggling with this," you're not diminishing yourself. You're building trust. You're saying, "I trust you enough to be real with you." That's magnetic. That's leadership. That's love. So how do you apply this in everyday life? Start by getting comfortable with discomfort. The next time someone asks how you're doing, instead of reflexively saying, "I'm fine," try something more honest. "I've had better days, but I'm getting through it." That small shift invites connection. When you make a mistake, own it. Don't dodge or defend. Say, "I messed that up. I'm sorry." These moments may feel vulnerable, but they make people respect you more, not less. Owning your flaws shows confidence and emotional maturity. In conversations, share something real about yourself. You don't have to tell your deepest secrets, but maybe you mention that you were nervous before a presentation, or that parenting has been really challenging lately, or that you're still figuring out your path. These honest moments give others permission to put their guard down, too. And perhaps most importantly, stop trying to impress everyone. People don't want perfect. They want present. They want to feel you, not your mask. They want to know they're not alone in their messiness, confusion, or growth. Here's your challenge. In your next meaningful conversation, reveal something true about yourself that you wouldn't normally share. It might be a fear, a mistake, a moment of doubt. See what happens. See how the energy shifts. See how the person in front of you relaxes, softens, and opens up. That's the power of vulnerability in action. And yes, being real comes with risks. Not everyone will meet your vulnerability with kindness. Some people might judge, misunderstand, or deflect. That's okay. Being authentic doesn't mean you'll be liked by everyone, but it does mean the people who connect with you will be connecting with the real you, not some persona you feel pressured to maintain. Marc Reklau reminds us that magnetism isn't about being the most charismatic person in the room. It's about being the most authentic. It's about making others feel safe, seen, and accepted, because you've first done that work for yourself. When you live authentically, you attract people who resonate with the real you. You stop chasing approval and start creating meaningful relationships. You go from surface-level conversations to soulful ones, from fitting in to belonging. Here's a powerful mindset shift to carry with you. Vulnerability isn't about exposing yourself, It's about inviting others in. And when people feel invited into your real world, they often return the gift. They share more. They support you. They trust you. And they remember you as someone who wasn't trying to impress them, but someone who made them feel understood. Let's also acknowledge this. Authenticity takes practice. If you've spent years guarding your emotions, always being the strong one, or projecting an image to gain approval, it won't change overnight. That's okay. Start small. Take one brick out of the wall. Share one truth. Admit one fear. Celebrate one flaw. Over time, your authenticity becomes your brand. People will describe you as genuine, grounded, and trustworthy, not because you've mastered life, but because you're living it honestly. Here's a final image for you. Think of your life as a house. If every door is closed and the curtains are drawn, no one can enter. But if you open a window, just a little, light gets in, air flows, people are drawn to it. Vulnerability is that open window. It's not everything, but it's enough to let love in. So today, open a window. Be a little more real. Share something true. Let the light in. Because when you show up as your whole self, not just the polished parts, you create relationships that are real, lasting, and deeply human. And that's what being a people magnet is really about. Section 9. Manage your energy, not just your time. Time management is often hailed as the secret to productivity, success, and balance. But what if the real secret, especially when it comes to your presence and your ability to influence others, has less to do with time and everything to do with energy? Marc Reklau, in How to Become a People Magnet, makes a powerful distinction. Magnetic people don't just manage their calendars, they manage their energy. They understand that being physically present isn't enough. It's your emotional, mental, and vibrational presence that draws people to you. Let's be honest. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone who's technically there, but it feels like they're miles away? Their eyes are glazed over, their posture slumped, their responses slow. You don't feel energized or seen. You feel dismissed or drained. That's what happens when someone's energy is low. And guess what? Other people can feel it just as much when it's you in that state. Here's the truth. Low energy equals low presence, and low presence repels connection. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel alive, seen, and inspired. That doesn't mean you have to bounce off the walls with excitement all the time. It simply means you need to show up with intention, alertness, and emotional availability. And that starts not with your schedule, but with your self-care. So how do you manage your energy in a way that makes you more magnetic? It begins with the basics: sleep, nutrition, movement, and mental health. No amount of ambition or positivity can compensate for a sleep-deprived, over-caffeinated, undernourished body. Your brain chemistry, your emotional regulation, and your physical stamina all depend on how you treat your body. When you sleep well, eat clean, hydrate consistently, and move your body, you naturally radiate a clearer, calmer energy. Your reactions are slower. Your empathy is higher. Your joy is more accessible. Now let's talk about another key factor in energy management: boundaries. Magnetic people don't say yes to everything. In fact, they're masters at saying no to drama, to energy vampires, to overcommitting, to things that drain their spirit. This isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. If you're constantly depleted, you have nothing left to give. Not to your relationships, not to your passions, and certainly not to your goals. Take a moment and reflect. How many things in your week drain you versus energize you? That committee you joined out of guilt? That social event you dread but always say yes to? That coworker who monopolizes your time with negativity. Every time you pour energy into something that depletes you, you're robbing yourself and the people you love of your best self. Now, this doesn't mean you never help others or stretch beyond your comfort zone, but it does mean you become conscious of your energy investments. You ask, is this worth it? Does this align with who I want to be? Will this energize me or exhaust me? Let's bring this to life with a real-world example. There was an employee named Rachel who worked in a large marketing firm. For years, she went unnoticed. She was reliable, but always tired, always overwhelmed, and always saying yes. She volunteered for every project, stayed late, skipped meals, and neglected sleep. Her energy was low, her confidence lower, and her relationships at work were surface level. One day, after a doctor's warning about her stress levels, Rachel made a radical shift. She began prioritizing her sleep. She set boundaries at work and started saying no to meetings that didn't need her. She blocked time for short walks, meal prepping, and meditation. Within weeks, her energy changed. She was sharper, more vibrant, more engaged. Her coworkers noticed. Her manager noticed. 6 months later, Rachel was promoted, not because she worked longer hours, but because she started showing up with presence, with clarity, with leadership energy. Rachel didn't just manage her time, she managed her energy, and it changed everything. So what does this look like for you? Here are some practical strategies. 1. Audit your energy leaks. Write down everything in your week that makes you feel drained. Is it a certain person, a task, a habit, like late-night scrolling or skipping breakfast? Identifying these leaks is the first step toward plugging them. 2. Build your energy rituals. What fills you up? Maybe it's a morning walk, journaling, quiet coffee, music, or a short midday nap. Protect those rituals like they're meetings with your soul, because they are. 3. Say no gracefully. You don't need to explain or justify every no. A simple, "I can't commit to that right now," is enough. Remember, every yes to something unimportant is a no to something essential. 4. Unplug regularly. Social media, news, and constant notifications are like energy vampires. Designate times each day to disconnect and let your nervous system reset. 5. Move your body. Even 10 minutes of stretching, walking, or dancing can shift your energy drastically. Movement fuels presence. 6. Surround yourself with energizers. Spend more time with people who lift you up, who encourage you, who believe in you. Energy is contagious. Choose yours wisely. Now here's your challenge for this week. Identify one commitment, habit, or relationship that drains your energy, and take a step to reduce or remove it. It might be unsubscribing from that group chat, saying no to a favor you don't have time for, logging off by 9 p.m. Whatever it is, take that action and notice what it frees up inside you. Managing your energy is not about being selfish. It's about being strategic. It's about showing up with the kind of vitality, clarity, and warmth that people feel the moment you walk into a room. Marc Reklau reminds us that becoming a people magnet isn't about being the loudest, flashiest, or most entertaining person. It's about being fully alive. And when your energy is aligned, nourished, and protected, people naturally gravitate toward you. They feel safe. They feel inspired. They feel your presence, and they want more of it. So protect your energy like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. People don't remember how much time you gave them. They remember how you made them feel. And when you manage your energy well, what they feel is unforgettable. Section 10. Resolve conflicts with empathy. Conflict is a part of life. It's unavoidable. Put two or more people together for long enough, and disagreements will happen. But here's the truth most people miss. Conflict doesn't ruin relationships. Poor handling of it does. Marc Reklau, in How to Become a People Magnet, emphasizes that magnetic people aren't those who avoid conflict. They're the ones who handle it with empathy, maturity, and grace. They don't sweep problems under the rug. They don't lash out or shut down. Instead, they lean in, with the goal of understanding, not winning. Let's be honest, most of us were never taught how to deal with conflict properly. We either learn to fight or flee. Some of us go into defense mode, arguing, blaming, and interrupting. Others go silent, burying resentment until it poisons the connection. But neither of those approaches builds trust. Neither deepens a bond. Neither makes people feel safe with us. Empathy is the game changer. Empathy in conflict means you care enough to listen, even when you're hurt or angry. It means you seek first to understand before demanding to be understood. It means you see the other person as a human being, not a problem to fix or an enemy to defeat. Here's why this matters deeply. Every relationship you care about, personal or professional, will be tested by conflict at some point. Whether it's a misunderstanding with a friend, a disagreement with a partner, or a frustrating moment at work, your ability to navigate tension with empathy will determine whether the relationship fractures or becomes stronger than ever. So how do you actually do this? First, you have to stay calm. That doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you regulate them. Take a breath, pause, count to 5. Remind yourself, I'm not here to win, I'm here to connect. That one internal shift can diffuse 80% of the tension before a word is even spoken. Second, listen actively. This isn't just about being quiet while the other person talks. It's about leaning in, making eye contact, nodding, saying things like, "Tell me more. I want to understand your side." And then, this is the gold. Repeat back what they said in your own words. For example, "So what I'm hearing is that you felt hurt when I didn't include you in the decision. Is that right?" That simple act of reflecting shows that you're not here to dominate. You're here to connect. Next, focus on resolution, not blame. In a conflict, it's easy to turn the spotlight outward. You always do this. You never listen. This is your fault. But that creates walls, not bridges. Instead, shift the language. Use I statements. I felt overlooked when I wasn't invited. I got frustrated because I value teamwork. Notice the difference? You're sharing your experience, not attacking theirs. Now let's bring this principle to life with a real example. A group of close friends who had known each other since college was on the brink of falling apart. One member, Jenna, felt excluded. She hadn't been invited to a few recent gatherings. Instead of saying something, she pulled away. Her texts got shorter. Her laughter less frequent. The others noticed but didn't know what was wrong. Finally, one friend, Marco, reached out. He invited Jenna to coffee and asked, "Hey, I've noticed you seem distant. Did I do something?" That question opened the floodgates. Jenna shared how she'd felt ignored, even though she knew it probably wasn't intentional. Marco listened, without interrupting or defending. He didn't try to fix it right away. He just held space for her experience. Then he said, "I'm really sorry we made you feel that way. That wasn't our intention, but your feelings are valid. Let's make this right." That one conversation, handled with empathy, saved the group. More than that, it deepened their connection. They made new agreements, communicated more openly, and prioritized including each other. What could have been a fracture became a foundation That's the power of empathetic conflict resolution. It's not about avoiding discomfort. It's about stepping into it with heart. And sometimes, that heart starts with forgiveness, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Carrying resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person gets sick. It weighs you down. It drains your energy. Forgiveness, especially in personal relationships, doesn't mean forgetting. It means releasing the grip that pain has on your present. Now, here are some practical tools you can start using right away. 1. Breathe before you speak. That pause, just a few seconds, can save you from saying something hurtful or reactive. It gives your brain a moment to shift from emotion to intention. 2. Ask questions instead of making accusations. For example, "Can you help me understand what happened?" is very different from, "Why did you do that?" Curiosity creates connection. Blame creates distance. 3. Use the truth sandwich. Start with something you appreciate about the person. Then share the issue. Then end with a statement of care or commitment. Example: "I really value our friendship. I felt a little hurt when you didn't tell me about the party. But I want us to keep being close. I just needed to share that." 4. Give space if needed. Not all conflicts can be resolved in one sitting. Sometimes people need time to process. That's okay. Just let them know, "I'm here when you're ready to talk." 5. Stay solutions-focused. Instead of rehashing what went wrong 50 times, ask, "What can we do differently moving forward?" That shifts the energy from past pain to future growth. And here's your challenge for this week. Think of one person you've had conflict or tension with recently. Ask yourself, can I forgive them? Can I reach out with compassion? Can I be the one to make peace, even if it's hard? Take the first step. Write the message. Make the call. Or simply let go of the grudge you've been holding in your heart. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you magnetic. Empathy is a superpower in relationships. It transforms arguments into understanding. It turns enemies into allies. It turns moments of pain into opportunities for growth. And most importantly, it makes people feel safe with you. Safe to be honest. Safe to be imperfect. Safe to be human. Marc Reklau reminds us that becoming a people magnet isn't about avoiding messiness. It's about showing up with love, even when things get messy. That's what people remember. That's what builds loyalty, trust, and real connection. So the next time conflict comes knocking, and it will, answer it with empathy. You'll be amazed at how your relationships shift when you stop trying to be right and start trying to understand. Section 11. Become a lifelong learner of people's skills. If there's one final truth that wraps up everything we've explored so far, it's this: magnetic people aren't born, they're built. Charisma, confidence, empathy, and connection aren't magical traits sprinkled on a lucky few. They're skills. And like any skill, they can be learned, practiced, refined, and eventually mastered. This idea, at the heart of Marc Reklau's book, How to Become a People Magnet, is both humbling and empowering. It means you don't need to be naturally outgoing, funny, attractive, or articulate to be magnetic. You just need to be willing to grow, willing to learn, willing to improve, even if you start from scratch. And make no mistake, people skills are among the most valuable skills you can ever develop. They influence your relationships, your career, your happiness, and even your health. Studies have shown that people with strong social connections live longer, earn more, and experience greater satisfaction in life. That's not fluff. That's fact. So, how do you become a lifelong learner of people skills? Start with this mindset. I can get better at this. If you've ever thought, I'm just not good with people. Stop. That's a belief, not a fact. Reframe it. I haven't mastered this yet, but I'm working on it. That one word, yet, opens the door to growth. Next, read, observe, and reflect. Great communicators are often great observers. They study what works and what doesn't. Watch how someone charismatic interacts in a group. Notice how they use body language, tone, and eye contact. Pay attention to how they listen, how they make people feel seen, how they stay calm under pressure. Read books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, Crucial Conversations, Nonviolent Communication, and of course, Marc Reklau's How to Become a People Magnet. These are gold mines. Every chapter gives you tools to sharpen your social edge. Podcasts are another treasure. Listen to interviews with world-class leaders, psychologists, and relationship experts. Shows like The Art of Charm, The School of Greatness, and The Tim Ferriss Show are full of real-life lessons and practical techniques. Consume them. Take notes. Try things out in real conversations. And then, self-reflect. After an interaction, ask yourself, what went well there? What could I have done differently? Did I make the other person feel heard, respected, and valued? Don't beat yourself up. Learn from it. Small improvements, made consistently, lead to massive transformation over time. Here's where it gets even more powerful. Ask for feedback. That takes courage, but it accelerates growth like nothing else. Ask a friend or mentor, hey, how do I come across in conversations? Is there anything I do that might be off-putting or confusing? Or, what's something you think I could improve when it comes to communication or connection? The key is to listen without defensiveness. You're not being criticized. You're being coached. Let's explore a story that brings this idea to life. Meet Liam. At 15, Liam was painfully shy. The idea of speaking up in class made his stomach turn. He mumbled through conversations, avoided eye contact, and never knew what to say at social events. People didn't dislike him. They just didn't notice him. But Liam made a decision. He was going to learn how to be great with people. He started small. He read one book on social skills a month. He joined the debate team, not because he wanted to win, but because he wanted to practice speaking up. He volunteered at a local event to challenge himself to talk to strangers. Every night, he reflected on his interactions and made mental notes on what to improve. It wasn't always pretty. He had awkward moments, blank stares, and a few embarrassing missteps. But he kept going. He kept learning. He kept stretching himself. By the time he graduated college, Liam had become known as a warm, confident, magnetic communicator. He was the guy people went to for advice, the one who led group projects, mediated conflicts, and gave moving speeches. And none of that came from natural talent. It came from dedication to learning. That's what becoming a people magnet looks like in real life. Now here's your challenge. Commit to studying one resource, just one, this month that helps you improve your communication or people skills. It could be a book, a course, a podcast series, a coaching session, or even a YouTube playlist. Pick something and dive in with intention. Not as a one-time fix, but as the start of a lifelong habit. Because here's the truth. The world is changing. AI is evolving. Automation is taking over tasks. But you know what never goes out of style? Emotional intelligence, compassion, influence, connection, the ability to speak in a way that moves people, to listen in a way that makes others feel seen, to lead, collaborate, and relate in a way that lifts everyone around you. That's what gives you the edge in business, in relationships, and in life. When you become a lifelong learner of people skills, you don't just change how others see you. You change how you see yourself. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop avoiding people and start embracing them. You grow into someone who makes others feel better just by being around you. That's magnetic. So remember, being a people magnet isn't about charm tricks or cheesy pickup lines. It's about growth. It's about choosing to get better at the most valuable human art form: connection. Every book you read, every conversation you reflect on, every mistake you learn from, every piece of feedback you embrace, brings you one step closer to becoming that version of yourself who lights up a room. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present, real, and always growing. You've got this, and you're just getting started. Conclusion: the power is already within you. What if I told you that becoming a people magnet isn't about changing who you are? It's about uncovering who you've always been. Underneath the hesitation, the old habits, the social fears, and the self-doubt lies someone powerful, someone magnetic, someone who can walk into a room and light it up, not because they're perfect, but because they're present. That someone is you. Throughout this journey, we've broken down How to Become a People Magnet by Marc Reklau into 11 practical, life-altering sections. And if there's one theme that connects them all, it's this: you don't need to wait to be chosen. You can choose yourself. You can decide, starting today, to show up differently in your relationships. You can lead with empathy. You can take responsibility. You can listen more, give freely, smile genuinely, and grow constantly. Let's recap what we've learned. Section 1 reminded us that it all begins with taking 100% responsibility. When you stop blaming others and start owning your role in every interaction, you reclaim your power to change your relationships and your life. Section 2 showed us that a simple smile and a word of appreciation can open doors you didn't even know existed. People crave recognition, and small gestures of positivity can build bridges faster than any strategy. Section 3 revealed the secret weapon of connection: listening to understand, not just to reply. When people feel heard, they feel safe, and trust follows. Section 4 taught us that true giving comes with zero strings attached. Generosity becomes magnetic when it's authentic, not transactional. Section 5 flipped the script with the reminder to be interested, not interesting. You don't need to perform to be liked. Just be curious, present, and engaged. Section 6 showed the surprising power of using people's names. When you remember and speak someone's name, you signal that they matter. Section 7 brought us into the heart of human connection with gratitude in relationships. Thankfulness isn't a feeling. It's a practice that transforms resentment into love and indifference into closeness. Section 8 challenged us to be authentic and vulnerable. Because real connection doesn't happen through polished perfection. It happens when we dare to be seen, flaws and all. Section 9 reminded us that your energy, not just your time, is your greatest asset. When you protect it, nurture it, and prioritize your well-being, you show up as your best self. Section 10 walked us through the often avoided territory of resolving conflict with empathy. The most magnetic people aren't those who never disagree. They're the ones who know how to heal and rebuild. And finally, Section 11 brought it home. This is a journey, not a destination. Becoming a lifelong learner of people skills means you never stop evolving, growing, and refining how you show up in the world. Now, let's sit with this for a moment. Every interaction you have is a choice to build, to heal, to lift someone up, or to retreat, to blame, to shut down. Every smile, every word, every gesture is a signal. A signal that says, I see you, or I'm too busy, or I care. But here's the magic. You get to choose what kind of signal you send. You already have everything you need to become magnetic. You don't need to fake it, and you don't need to become someone else. You simply need to let go of what's been holding you back and start practicing the habits that bring out your true brilliance. Because that's what this whole journey has been about. Not overnight transformation, not perfection, but daily, intentional growth. The truth is, you've probably already experienced flashes of your magnetic self. The moment someone leaned in while you were speaking, the time a friend said, I really needed to hear that, or when someone lit up because you remembered their name or complimented their effort. Those moments weren't luck. They were you, being your best self. And the more you practice, the more those moments multiply. Until one day, someone asks you, what's your secret? How do you connect with people so effortlessly? And you'll smile, knowing it wasn't effortless at all. It was a choice, a commitment, a practice, and it was worth every second. So here's your final challenge, and it's a big one. Start living this. Not next week, not when life slows down, not when you feel more confident, but now, today. Pick one habit, just one, and put it into action. Then tomorrow, choose another. Keep going. Build momentum. And when you fall off track, that's okay. You're human. But don't stay down. Get back up. Recommit. Grow forward. Because every person you meet is an opportunity to practice presence. Every conversation is a classroom. Every relationship is a mirror. And every day is a chance to become more of the person you were always meant to be. The truth is, you don't have to wait to be magnetic. You already are. You just have to remember. You just have to uncover it. And now, you have the tools to do exactly that. Let's wrap this up with a final call to action. If this video sparked something in you, if even one idea made you pause, reflect, or feel inspired, then don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone you care about, and drop a comment below with the insight that hit you the hardest. I'd love to hear what resonated most with you. And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got even more powerful book summaries, life lessons, and transformational tools coming your way to help you grow, connect, and thrive every single day. This isn't the end of the journey. It's just the beginning. Now go out there and light up the room. Because the world needs your warmth. The world needs your voice. And the world is waiting for you to own your magnetism. Let's go.